Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be going over the revised list for Highlander.
There can be only one.
Now this deck is called Optimized because what we did was end up taking out a carrier Behemoth and a Tusky and replacing them with a Mercenary and a Cursed Dragon. If you don't have those cards, feel free to go back to the older version of the deck. Carrier Behemoth is still good, and obviously Tusky is still good despite getting the damage nerf that he did since the last time this deck has been out. I really feel like this is the strongest iteration of this deck, and if you're looking to run this gauntlet and grab your 5 and 0, this is the one I would be using. Alright guys, I'll see you in the games. Alright, it looks like for our first game we have a Odin versus Mayan deck. We're going to be having a pretty decent start here, especially since it's the Mayan matchup where the Zaben Scout is incredibly powerful. Every time we trade our little 1/1 hero powers into theirs, we will be getting additional zombies back, and I should easily be able to win the tempo battle in that way. He does, however, nail me with a insta-kill card there and turns him into a zombie. So he's definitely got the tempo battle won at this point, unfortunately. However, I have a lot of great cards in hand, and as long as I can effectively deal with that Hunbots in the back, I should be completely fine. Taking a little bit of extra time here. Probably didn't realize I didn't end the turn. Yeah. And offer him good luck. Alright, he's spawning more zombies. Death from aboveing my Brontus here in the back. Luckily he's not in range to take any damage at this point. But unfortunately we really don't have a way to get that Hunbots. And if we don't kill him quickly... Oh, sweet. We take down one of the zombies here, clearing way and sending through a Thor down the middle. Making my board state look a hell of a lot better than his at this point. I can't really complain. He's got 2 zombies and I've got a 4/2 Brontus. Oh, and a Siege Master. Siege Master you never want to put on the front line if you are playing against an Odin, unless you're just using it to bait out their hero power, which just doesn't make much sense to me. I'm really going to start being able to close this game out. We have our Zaben Scout down here, ready to pick off zombies with his 1/3 body. And I also need to figure a way to finish off this Fury, which is accomplished with a hero power and a pump on the Brontus from casting a Hell. Now I really have him kind of backed up here. Ideally, I would think I'm going to be starting to power up that Zaben with the Hell, as we really want to get some damage out here onto his Summoning Stone, but at the same time be able to put out some decent damage onto his Spartan guy here in the back. That 2 armor shield is kind of a problem to deal with as a Odin player. I can keep spawning all my little 1/1s. Power up my Zaben again. Power him up again. start wondering if I should have instead attacked the Spartan, but because I have a pretty good body block going here with my L formation on top, it's going to be really difficult for him to get to my ranged units here on the bottom. This is a hard choice for him. Is he going to stop the immediate threat or the threat that keeps on coming? I personally think he made the wrong choice there. With so much small stuff I have on the board, I think the Hell active was probably less of a threat compared to the 7/6 range guy that I've got here. Just going to go and finish him here. Just taking these two guys out of the mix for a turn is going to be plenty enough to open him up to kill. Alright, looks like it's a good game. Alright guys, for game 2 it looks like we have my Odin versus what everyone keeps calling overpowered Zeus. Just for the record, I really don't think that Zeus is the current top deck. I still think Chinese is up there, Roman's up there. Zeus is probably up there now too, but more impactful was Zeus being able to take out Odin now. I think Odin fell further than Zeus rose in terms of a new meta, but until I actually climb again, which probably will be starting pretty soon. I know I say that a lot, but I have been making a ton of videos and had a new job prospect come up and worked through all of that. So now we're back to fully putting out YouTube videos again. Alright, so he's got his lion here in the back. The Nemean lion is not really the best. I mean, I don't really like the card for Highlander or not, but maybe he's playing some kind of Beast Zeus or something. He's got a 2/6 one that's also still has obviously the 1 armor there. And I think it's kind of a problem, to be honest. He takes out the rest of my board with Wrath of God there. We got a chieftain on the board, and we're going to go for the 50-50 and definitely miss it there. Don't really feel too bad. Still have a very strong core of things I can keep casting here, and he's still just got a 2/1. Now I could have played Brontes and the Runestone last turn, but I rather would put the Brontes out on board and give him a pump, and the reason for that is because I can deal 17 damage next turn with a hero power activation to do 2 damage by pumping up my chieftain here. I almost screw that up by pumping my Loki there, but I catch myself before I make that big error. It's really hard to come back when Odin's got such a board advantage on you. They'll always be a threat, even if they're not as consistent as they were before. I really think the Ratatoskr nerf was pretty big for them, and the Runestone of Ire nerf, which, although that happened a couple patches ago, that was a pretty huge nerf. Getting that on 3 and being able to go Soul and Runestone was a very strong play. But now, turn 7, it's a little less impactful when you think about how many strong 7 drops there are. It's just not the same. Against this Nuwa, I have a very good opening. Nuwa is not the best matchup for Odin. However, I get a very key card in this matchup, which is the Arges. And at this point, I'm going to be just playing pumps here and drawing cards every time I cast a god. Now I decide to trade my Brontes into his Erlang Shane to protect the Arges. And we're going to move out of the way here so the Ymir can take a shot. And we'll be finishing him off. It's a really nice Sitterer play there. Debate whether casting a hero or a god there versus my hero power. And either one would have been fine. He gets a Chang'e on the back. It's not really too threatful, but it allows him to unload his saved 1,000 spears in hand and put a little bit of a hurt, killing off my Sitterer there. Hopefully we'll get the 50-50, which we do. Tusky throws his nut right in Chang'e's face, and it looks like we take back the board. That was a very good Ox Wukong there. Took out a significant portion of my damage. But again, it's not really the end of the world considering what I have on board already. Alright. Thor to finish. No. Gift Immunin. And keep the pressure on. Okay. A Fire Giant is a pretty good play here. I'm more afraid of getting hit with a Rushing Thundered Alquan, or God, even worse is Mr. Pole Arms and his ability to wipe everything I've got pretty much, but we'll just hope that he hasn't drawn into him yet and just keep putting damage as quickly as possible. The Fire Giant's big backside there should survive anything he's going to be throwing at it. And he's already down to 11 life, so he doesn't have much longer to live. He offers the good game. I say it back. And we go for the kill. 4 damage exactly. Cool. I feel like we were able to outplay a bad matchup, and it's always a good feeling going into your next game. Well, we get a Roman player this time, and we're going to go all out. Against Roman, you really need to not let them get the board. If they end up taking board from you and really dancing around the board with their hero power on a ranged unit, this is an almost impossible scenario to recover from. So the most important thing is trying to prevent that. I'll be playing a little bit more aggressive against dealing with ranged units instead of going straight for the summoning stone in this matchup, but I will also need to be dealing with things like Bacchus as well. Regardless of if he got a 1 damage nerf, it's not as big as you would think, because he was kind of broken before based on the things he gets from his ability, not really because of his stats. Obviously a 3 damage cleaving unit is better than a 2 damage cleaving unit, but the fact that he can still get cleave and immune from melee means that he's going to be able to do a ton of damage still. It just takes just a little bit longer to ramp up, which is still better than no nerf. I'd like to point that out for sure. No nerf would have been pretty bad on Bacchus. is interesting. Roots my guy, gets his Brontus around, and this guy's definitely got some damage on me here, which is kind of a pain. I want to limit the damage he's going to be having on turn 6, mostly because I'm fearing a Terra, and I don't want him to have an active source of damage on the board. In saying that, I probably should have placed my Freya in the front there, so I had no row stacked enemies that he could have double hit. I was kind of reeling from the columned root he played on me earlier, but now that I think about it, it is Highlander, and he obviously does not have another one in hand. Starting to really push back against this guy. He got me down to 17, however, because of me maintaining this Arges on the board for so long, I am vastly outdrawing my opponent here. And it's going to be hard for him to recover, going down to 3 cards, now 2 cards, as I draw up to my 9th. Drop the Citterer, fix the combat damage there, trade Freya into Cupid. Probably should have played that Zabin earlier if I was going to play him, but looks like we change our mind and play a Soul anyway, so no big deal. I have quite the army for him, and he drops an Armored Behemoth. Pretty decent card, but not very useful for him right now, that's for sure. We also have combo in hand, so as soon as I'm able to, I will be able to burst for a significant amount of damage. Could I have killed him this turn? Let's see, I could have put 12... Yeah, I probably could have killed him last turn if I had, instead of attacking his Armored Behemoth, went straight for the Summoning Stone using both Wind Demon, Citterer, and the Relentless thing that lets me attack twice. So that was a play mistake on my end, but this is definitely, hindsight's always the best, right? Ideally, I'd try to get a block here, but we get the combo, Mercenary, Pump, and Dump. After finishing that last game in a spectacular fashion, feel it pretty good going into what I think this is the 5th game. Kind of a bit scared going second against the other Odin player. Nothing can beat Odin but Odin in some ways. So even comparative to versus the Chinese matchup, which is obviously a less favorable matchup than Odin versus Odin, I feel a little bit more scared because he can pull the same BS combos that I can. His Sitter is really putting in work here too. I'll go for the Runestone, just trying to take back a little bit of the tempo here, and he gets a perfect fate, a double fate. Oh no, this is looking like it is my fate to not win this matchup, but we'll give it our best. Got a Citterer of our own here, and his protected Gladiator in the back is a pretty big problem here. He's going to be getting a lot of value out of that if I don't deal with it soon. And considering he kind of has the lead right now, I am not going to be able to really push too aggressively. I need to deal with his side of the board. I can't really go straight to his summoning stone for any reason, being that I'm at 15 to 25 and he's got a lot of crap out there. Now I decide to pull back. He has a lot more on the board and I want to be able to have the strategic opportunity to pounce first. So I'm going to let him march toward me and hopefully get an intercept on these guys, powering up my chieftain along the way. Main problem here is he's got a pretty decent amount of ranged units here. So he's going to be able to tee off on probably both my Ymir and my Citara. Oh no, he drew into a Cursed Dragon. That's not good. Not good at all. Yeah, going for the pump and finishing both of them off. What I'm hoping for here at this point is to somehow get my chieftain over to his side of the board and one-shot him. That's really the only out I have. Kind of take over his side of the board while at the same time finishing off a lot of the stuff. I took down the Citara instead of the wolf in the front because it allowed my Fenrir to live. It's just another thing he'll have to deal with. Oh man. Knowing that he had that Cursed Dragon, I really should have moved my chieftain forward there. Had I moved my chieftain forward and I draw into a Hastened Fatalis, I could have won. However, we didn't draw it anyways. So, in the end, it didn't really matter. But that could have went a long way in making it a little closer. If I'd get a shot there, he would have been at 11. And if I draw the Hastened Fatalis now, Loki could have killed as well. But in the end, we'll see if we're able to draw what we need, or my opponent is just going to steamroll me with his board of value that's currently out. Well, we get the rat instead of the hastened. So, it looks like this one's a loss. Good games, and I'll see you guys in the next video.